Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and welcome to our look at the Conduit of the Celestials, Mistweaver and Windwalker hero talents. Conduit Celestials have devoted themselves to the teachings of the four august Celestials so wholeheartedly they can channel their power outwardly, call upon their assistance in combat, and they can even become conduits of the Celestials' power during brief moments, preventing some other actions, but empowering them heavily. Empowering the monk heavily, I assume, is what that means. We have a couple of dev notes here. This one has actually sparked a couple of clarifications, updates that they've now fixed as well, I believe, in this post. And also, they have clarified that Essence font is going to be changing and not going to be something that looks like it currently does in the new expansion as well. So let's start with the top ability here. Celestial Conduit. It's an active ability on a 90-second cooldown. This says the August Celestials empower you, causing you to radiate nature damage onto enemies and healing onto 5 injured allies over 4 seconds. It's split evenly among them, but the healing and damage is increased by 6% per enemy struck, up to 30%. So you do get a little bit of value out of being an AoE, but not much. You can move while channeling, but casting other healing or damaging spells cancels this effect. So I assume you can also like roll, because that's not a healing or damaging spell, but you can't do other stuff. You just go Celestial mode. Okay. Celestial Conduit. Okay, yeah, it won't break using defensive, utility, or movement spells. So Tiger's Lust, defensives, roll, all those kind of things, hopefully, are in there. Dispels even, potentially, will not be broken here. Temple Training says the healing of Enveloping Mist and Vivify is increased by 10%, or Fist of Fury and Spinning Crane Kick deal 10% more damage. The other option here is Juen's Guidance, which says Teaching of the Monastery has a 15% chance to refund a charge when consumed, or the damage of Tiger Palm is increased by 30%. So I assume you're going to want to go Temple Training for Windwalker. Not sure for Mistweaver. Let's actually read the bottom node next. I forgot I'd been doing that on these videos recently, and usually that matters. So Unity Within says Celestial Conduit can be recast once during its duration to call upon all of the Celestials to assist you at 200% effectiveness. It's automatically cast when Celestial Conduit ends if it's not used before expiration. So you can press it during that time for a big burst. So you either just double tap Celestial Conduit and do that at the start, do it sometime in the middle for healing potentially, or at the end automatically if you don't need it before then. Okay, Courage of the White Tiger is up next. Tiger Palm and Vivify have a 15% chance to cause Juen to claw your target for physical damage, healing a nearby ally for either 200% as Mistweaver or 100% as Windwalker of the damage done. That chance is also increased when Yu'lon, Chi-Ji, or Juen are active. Over here we have Restore Balance that says if you're Mistweaver, you gain Refreshing Jade Wind while Chi-Ji or Yu'lon's active, and if you're a Windwalker, you gain Rushing Jade Wind when Juen is active. Okay, a little bit of extra, value. Those are just the like HPS or DPS things that rotate around you, I believe. So, nice, a little bit extra value when those are active. The other option is Yu'lon's Knowledge, which says Refreshing Jade Wind's duration is increased by 10 seconds, or Rushing Jade Wind's duration is increased by 4 seconds, and multiple uses may overlap, so you can just press it on CD. And yeah, I've pressed this a lot as Brewmaster over the years. I don't actually think I've pressed it all that often as Windwalker. I'm not sure if I talented into it as Windwalker recently, but I haven't played too much Windwalker recently, so we'll see which of these ends up being the option here. Restore Balance is certainly the lower, well, it's maybe a little bit lower effort, but actually giving you extra duration. So Yu'lon's Knowledge makes Mistweaver's rotation easier because you just press Refreshing Jade Wind less often, and you don't have to worry about the uptime as much. It doesn't actually for Windwalker because the multiple uses may overlap thing means that you do still just want to press it on CD, right? So that is a strange quirk of the talents here where like Restore Balance is going to be the lower effort one for Windwalker, whereas Yu'lon's Knowledge is going to be the lower effort one for Mistweaver. Okay, Heart of the Jade Serpent is another option here, which it's worth noting, wow, almost all of the nodes in this tree have different text boxes between Mistweaver and Windwalker. I guess that is more common for the hero talent trees that are shared between like a DPS and a non-DPS spec, but still it seems a little bit kind of inelegant here that so many of these are pretty massively different between the two specs. Okay, Heart of the Jade Serpent says, consuming 8 stacks of Sheilun's gift causes Yu'lon to decrease the cooldown time of Renewing Mist, Rising Sun Kick, Life Cocoon, and Thunder Focus Tea by 100% for 8 seconds. So I assume that means that, well, okay, cooldown time being reduced by 100%. Does that just mean they have no cooldown, or does that mean, like, twice as fast on recovering their cooldowns? I guess it's probably most likely to be, instead, like, to just give you free for 8 seconds, no cooldown, but I'm not 100% sure. It's also worth noting as well that this you'll need 16 stacks to activate if you talent into Veil of Pride as well. Windwalker, on the other hand, says consuming 30 Chi causes Yu'lon to decrease the cooldown time of Rising Sun Kick, Fist of Fury, Strike the Windlord, and Whirling Dragon Punch by 100% for 8 seconds, sort of giving you like a little mini Serenity window. Interesting there. If that actually does let you just spam Strikes of the Windlord as well, that's kind of powerful. Okay, if it reduces the cooldown time of Whirling Dragon Punch as well, but Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury, that's an anti-synergy, because you can only press Whirling Dragon Punch when Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury are both on cooldown, right? So it doesn't help that Whirling Dragon... I guess it's when that 8 seconds ends, then you can press Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury, and then press Whirling Dragon Punch. Or maybe it works the way I initially thought, and it just speeds up the cooldowns of them, rather than making them free for 8 seconds, making them just instantly come off cooldown and stay off cooldown for 8 seconds. Weird effect. Does look kind of fun, though. This does look like a pretty fun thing to play around. Strength of the Black Ox in the middle here says, after Juen assists you, your next Enveloping Mist cast time or Blackout Kick. So your next Enveloping Mist cast time is reduced by 50%, and it causes Niu Zhao to grant an Absorb Shield to 5 nearby allies for 5% of your max HP. Nice little bit of HPS there. Or if you're Windwalker, instead your Blackout Kick causes Niu Zhao to stomp at your target's location, dealing damage to nearby enemies reduced beyond 5 targets. And again, these Celestials all assisting you. Like, I assume that means that if Courage of the White Tiger procs, that is Juen assisting you, which will then affect Strength of the Black Ox. But also, Unity Within causes all of the Celestials to get called at the end or in the middle. And so you will also have Juen assist you after every Celestial Conduit. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's my initial reading of this. And same over here, right? Like, this is Yu'lon assisting you for Heart of the Jade Serpent. Yeah. Okay, Flight of the Red Crane over here says, refreshing or rushing Jade Wind and spinning Crane Kick have a chance to cause Chi-Ji to quickly rush 5 targets, either healing if you're Mistweaver or dealing damage if you're Windwalker. All right, Niu Zhao's Protection says, Fortifying Brew grants you an Absorb Shield for 25% of your max HP. All right. A little bit of extra value on Fort Brew. A somewhat fake defensive from time to time that will be a lot more real with a 25% absorb thrown on it. The other option is Jade Sanctuary, which says you heal for 10% of your max HP instantly when you activate Celestial Conduit, and you receive 15% less damage for its duration. Now, it's a little bit weird to be using a throughput cooldown like Invoking the Celestials as a damage reduction, but especially for Mistweavers, I could see that being good, because sometimes you're going to want to press it, right? Like during a Rashok intermission or whatever, where everybody's taking a bunch of damage. And in that case, you taking less damage is also going to be nice, in addition to healing everybody else during that time. So I could see that being an option for, especially for Mistweaver in those cases. I assume that, especially for Brewmaster, or for Windwalker, you're usually just going to take Niu Zhao's Protection, but I could be wrong there. Chi-Ji's Swiftness says your movement speed is increased by 25% during Celestial Conduit and for 3 seconds after being assisted by any Celestial. Love it. Free movement speed procs. Always nice. Turning Celestial Conduit into a little bit of a, charge as well, sprint as well. Nice quality of life. Fun to move around faster. And finally, we have Inner Compass or August Dynasty. Inner Compass says you switch between alignments after an August Celestial assists you, increasing a corresponding secondary stat by 3%. Crane Stance, which is Chi-Ji, is Haste, which is going to proc randomly off of Flight of the Red Crane. Tiger Stance, which is Juen, is Crit, and that's going to proc off of Courage of the White Tiger. Ox Stance is Niu Zhao, and that's going to give you Verse, which will happen after Strength of the Black Ox. So, annoyingly, after every Juen, you immediately are going to get a Niu Zhao assist, right? And You're going to have more verse than crit, which may or may not be something you care about. May or may not be bad. And then finally, Serpent Stance, which is going to proc off of Heart of the Jade Serpent, is going to give you Mastery. I guess one thing I don't like here for Windwalker is it's going to feel bad whenever you proc a Flight of the Red Crane and your stat is going to switch from something good into haste. That always is going to kind of suck if you take this. The other option is August Dynasty, which says casting Jadefire Stomp increases the damage of your next Rising Sun kick by 30%, or if you're a Mistweaver, the healing of your next Vivify by 50%. So, nice option here. It's nice as well. You don't actually have to take Jadefire Stomp if you don't want to, which a lot of Windwalkers don't like Jadefire Stomp, and maybe it won't be good in any given time. So if that's the case, you can just take Inner Compass. But yeah, okay. Huh. I guess I kind of get this tree. I do find the amount of ways that this tree just doesn't actually... It doesn't really feel like one hero talent tree. It feels like two, right? It feels like there's the Mistweaver version and the Windwalker version, and they're like very different off of the stuff that's going to trigger things and how it's going to work. But maybe that's a really... I can see why that would be a hard thing to avoid for some of these hero talent trees, but that is, I think, a criticism I do have of this tree. I think it'll probably be reasonably fun as well. You know, you get a nice 90 seconds, kind of an awkward timer for a cooldown here, but yeah, you know, I think I could see this one being pretty fun. I think if I was a Windwalker, I'd be usually more excited to play Shadowpan, and then obviously I haven't played too much Mistweaver recently, much at all. I played a little bit in back in Legion, I played some, but I need to play some this season because it's really fun this season, I've heard. So, but yeah, I don't really have a good take on whether this will be fun or not for them. I guess I'll say it's probably nice that Mistweaver's often had kind of not a lot of cooldowns, right? Obviously you've got Revival, but not much else in terms of button you can press to top people. Although I guess it's only going to heal 5 injured allies, so I mean that's going to kind of suck outside of M+, in Raid. And this might be like an M+ thing that really falls off for Mistweaver in Raid because it's healing your whole group in M+, is not healing your whole group in Raid. Either way, I'm curious to know what you think, if you are a Monk main or not, if you've just got takes. Always happy to hear any takes. Put them down in the comments below. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.